So today, Jay, we're talking about the June beta gear. However, we need to go
One's
back.
beta, one's white box.
Oh, that's true,
Yeah.
yeah. But before we get started, last month we talked about beta gear and we couldn't evaluate it completely because we had only seen two of the five pieces. So we assumed that we would get the rest of the other three pieces so we could actually make an informed opinion on the gear, the Petrichor
Because
armor.
because the current X special gear rule is undefined.
Yes.
We don't know what it is or what it does.
And also that the gear is just hard to activate because this like it was hard to just use. I think we said like Dragon King is what we settled on. That was the only armor we got it to activate with. So
Yeah,
so
which
not
I
yeah.
mean, hey, Dragon King buff, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah,
So not only was it hard to evaluate because we were missing three of the five pieces and we didn't know what one of the keywords even did, but it was also a weird armor set that we couldn't figure out how to activate. So,
yeah.
lo and behold, we did not get that. We will not be talking about the rest of the Petrichor armor. That is an interesting thing. I
Yeah.
guess we just might never see it.
Uh, Coming to a Ringtail expansion near you, 2034.
Correct. I was hoping that that wouldn't be the route that was going to be taken. I would really hope that we wouldn't get a glimpse of a gear set that we might not see until like 2030.
Maybe next year, or next year. I mean, maybe next month. We'll figure out what current does.
Hopefully. But that needs to be mentioned. That is very awkward. I don't think it's fair to not address the fact that the next release cycle did not complete the product that we were sold last month. That is problematic.
It's unfortunate. I mean, hey, maybe it got sneakily added to Living Glossary.
Maybe.
Let's see.
But let's.
But well, I'm looking. Yeah, why don't you introduce this
Yeah.
this month's
So you're right. We have
contenders?
one piece of beta gear that came with. Oh, I actually forget her name. What's her name? It's not Astri, but it looks like her. They're from the same
Uh,
settlement.
uh, Gunborg.
That's correct. We have one grand weapon beta gear, which is also has the cult keyword, which is interesting. I think it's tied to White Speaker Cult.
Yeah, the same as the speaker knife.
Correct. Now,
And actually, I'm just gonna check if the Red Witch or Pariah gear is cult.
yeah, I think it is. I forget. But so we have this. This is a grand weapon that has no required settlement location, which is interesting. In order to craft this, you need to. It cost 5 population, 1 iron, and 3 bone. Surprisingly, no perfect resource in here, which is.
I feel like it should probably require sacrifice, but that's just me.
It
Maybe.
should definitely require something. Because as this is really cheap and kind of good. Thankfully, it's unique because originally I missed that it was unique when I first looked at it. But thankfully, it is not because of how strong the weapon is. We'll talk about the weapon itself, but just because of the fact that you're sacrificing 5 population, you'll still get the benefits of when people die. So you'll still get the death principles and stuff. So like, it's you can actually make stuff from this. Like it you could technically make profit if you have like what's the forbidden dance thing at the Lope location? Harvest ritual. I forget what it is.
Yeah,
But
harvest ritual at
yeah, so you sacrifice 5 population, you gain yourself a bunch of extra endeavors. Like you might actually profit from crafting this, which is just a weird thing to even think about. But it is what it is. So it costs the 1 iron and 3 bone. You can make this really early. Let's look at the actual gear itself. The Globin Snarfer. Such a weird name.
Well, you're snarfing as in eating, globin as in hemoglobin, as in the coagulative agent within blood. So it's blood eater.
Correct. Yeah, it's a grand weapon. It's got 3 speed, 7+ accuracy with 7 strength. It is cursed, it is sentient, and it is unique. Which is
not slow.
Yeah, but it is sentient, cursed, and unique, which is interesting. Because, well, it's just interesting. That's a lot of negative things that are forcing it into your gear grid. It's like the Twilight Swords.
I mean, it's thematically appropriate. It's supposed to be like a parasitic symbiotic weapon.
Yeah, because it has blood.
We didn't read her blurb. We need to read the shop blurb.
Oh yeah, her lore blurb.
Let's see, Gunborg. Gunborg remembers too much. Lifetimes of fatelessness crowned out her sense of self, leaving a being driven by reoccurring impressions, an instinct to betray ones who hold her dear. A parasitic weapon greedily feeds of her basest desires, preserving her vacant existence.
Yeah, it is interesting. Yeah. This weapon here. Like I said, I don't know exactly how to make this. It's better than. It's not. You'd think it'd be pretty. It looks cool. It does a lot of stuff. It has devastating. You'd think it would be very powerful, but I don't actually know. I think
it is.
It's deceivingly powerful.
It's a side rate the Skleever, but the Skleever's great, so that's probably fine.
Yeah. But it's got Blood Eater, which is super interesting here. So with Blood Eater, this ability is a gear special rule. If you are adjacent to another survivor, you may spend an action to kill them. Transfer their bleeding tokens to you, and it takes an additional 5 bleeding tokens to kill you this showdown. So yeah, you're killing a survivor. You're going to need at least 2... At least to kill 2. You're going to have to do that. Because
you need to kill 2, and you have to have tokens to begin with.
Yes, so because you can't get to 5 unless you're the other person you're killing also has unconscious fighter.
Unconscious fighter, thank you.
Yes, both of you
will
need to have
suppressed
that.
Shadow, I think.
Yeah, so you both need to have some way of increasing the total bleed tokens because you can't kill someone when they're at 5, and it transfers their bleeding tokens that they have. So if they have no bleeding tokens. It's not like you're killing them and gaining 5. They need to have bleed tokens when you kill them.
Well, you are gaining 2 endeavors, so there's that.
Yeah, if you have graves. But then again, right? No doesn't take graves. So then while you have 10 plus bleeding tokens, meaning that the most you can get from someone else is 4, unless you've got some kind of fighting arts, you alter that or whatever. Most you could get is 4, and the most you can have on you is 4, meaning the most that'd be 8, because you would die at 5. So the 8 is the most you can have. You'd need to have a second survivor. So you need to kill at least 2. And if you're not going to get your own bleeding tokens by getting hurt or something, then you need to kill 3. Because again, the most you can get off one person is 4. Because once they reach 5, they're dead. You can't kill them if they're already dead. You'd get no bleeding tokens. So if you were to only rely on killing other survivors, the most you could get would be 8. So this is very interesting.
No. If you both have unconscious fighter, you can both have 5.
Yes, if you both had unconscious fighter, then yeah.
However, you are eating an unconscious fighter, which I guess you can fuel with sculpture, and you can get the endeavors back by killing the guy if you have graves to propagate the sculpture loop.
Correct. Now, let me ask you this. Would you even do all that? Because in order to...
No.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you gain Devastating 1, and you need to have 4 red affinities, basically. 2 of which are puzzle, and then 2 extra red affinities.
And
you
it's
could
red
just
left,
do
right
this with
up.
Zimbato. like
Yes.
very quickly.
Or even better, calcified Zanbato, which has more strength than
Well,
this.
yeah. I just meant like as like the scale. Like I mean, yeah, obviously this isn't as good as like Perfect Slayer or Dragon Slayer stuff like that. But I'm just saying that, like a Zombato could easily replace this.
Zanbato. I might even take like a Dragon Slayer. I have a soft spot for that thing personally,
Yeah,
but
I mean
that's just
this.
me.
I think I think the ability and the Blood Eater thing is like a red herring. I think this is just better than Ribblade, right? Because Ribblade is currently the thing you want to use if you're not going to use a Zombato, right? Ribblade's good because it gives you a grand weapon to easily skill up on really quick in the early game. This, I think, is if you're playing Protect the Young and you have Hovel and you're going to be passing down Grand because this is sentient and cursed and unique. If you're only going to skill up on Grand, this is perfect for skilling up on Grand in the early game. It's got 7 strength with 3 speed.
Correct.
So I think the fact that the devastating and the bleed tokens and all the other like thematics of it, I think that's all just a red herring. This is just a very good skilling up grand weapon that's not frail like Zombato.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a solid DPS type deal.
Yeah,
3 speed in general on 7 strength, that's pretty good. And like grand weapon specialization, I think gives you extra accuracy with grand weapons. Obviously, ocular parasites, blind spot, you're hitting on 7654 plus. It's just a good sword. Grand weapon, whatever.
correct.
What else can you even like do with 3 red affinities?
I don't know. Like I said, it's just neat. This is just it's very it's weapons that are red herrings we haven't seen too many of. So I think that's interesting. I think it's got a very unique ability that you could try to activate, but I wouldn't. But just because the ability is super powerful and really hard to activate doesn't mean you need to make the weapon bad. Just making a very bland, generic, okay weapon is also good. And that's what I see here. This is really good for skilling up grand.
This gives me like Wheat and Walks vibes,
Yeah.
like the Banshee Dura stuff.
Yeah, it's got a fun thing that you
Or
don't
like
need
a,
to use to get utility out of this. So
it's neat and ultimately kind of just a side grade.
yep. I think it's cool. So that's the beta. That's the only stuff we got. The other one, as Jay said, is a white box. I misspoke. It is not double beta gear. This one is interesting. There are a lot of rules here for this one.
Also, spoiler alert. Specifically, this is marketed as a super secret surprise on the store page. It does tell you what it is if you scroll all the way down. However, it's meant to be a surprise. If you bought it or are planning to buy it at Gen Con or whatever, and you don't want to be spoiled on what this is, that is, again, it is meant to be a, quote, birthday surprise, skip to the end of the video.
Correct. Yes.
I just want to put that very much out there so we're not like some people.
Correct. This is it's marketed as a birthday gift. So
It is not actually a blind purchase because the shop page tells you what it is, but it's marketed as an optionally blind purchase.
yes. So the intent here is that you're making a custom card to give to someone for their birthday as a
Yes.
gift. And it gives you a bunch of like stats and stuff, and then you just make it according to the playstyle you think they'd like or they would hate, because you can also make a joke out of it. Some of the abilities are bad, some are boons, and some are clearly just bad. Like they're jokes, like they're meant for you to get a laugh at the table. So with that in mind, I'm not going to be really doing much strategic like thought here because you're tailor making a special gift for someone. And that's exactly what the rules are. It's just a blank card where you can put stickers on and where you're supposed to write. You're supposed to write the person's name, who it's from, all those kind of things. And then the stickers and stuff will add on to the abilities. Now, with that said, before we actually talk about it, just in case there's someone who's still here who doesn't want to have everything spoiled, if you do buy this at Gen Con, they have said that if you buy it at Gen Con and you're there and you wish to open it there, if the team has time, they will make one for you. So that's an interesting purchase if you want to think about that for when you're at Gen Con, if you're actually going.
Means they will make it useless.
Yes, they will probably make a very funny one for you. But you could get that. So, with that said, let's talk about how this is supposed to work. This is a lot of rules here. Basically, I'm just going to paraphrase this really far down. So you're making a gift for someone, so there's a lot of just blank spaces with underlines, where you're supposed to write person's name and then write the name of all this stuff. And then you put a sticker on it, and the stickers come in 3 different colors. And then there's another spot at the bottom for making an ability, and there's like six different abilities to choose from or whatever, and then you combine them, and you put the sticker there.
It's birthday Aya. We haven't actually said that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's spoiler, right?
Well, we already gave the spoiler warning.
Yeah, that's true.
2 minutes ago.
Yeah, so
it's birthday Aya. She's cute.
Yeah, it comes with a painter's scale mini.
I think a regular mini, doesn't it?
No, I think it was painter's scale.
Well, then maybe.
Either way, so the rules here are the rules tell you to do it at random. I would highly, 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 highly not recommend that you do this at random, because you could just make abilities combos that just do not work. So
which is funny.
It's funny if you
have a sense of humor, unlike Bra, then I'm kidding.
Yeah, if you want to be funny and you want to do it at random, and you say, "Oh, look, you made one that just doesn't work, and now this card's useless." Oh, the other thing is you get 1 card, which is kind of weird. So even though you could make 3 cards, they only give you 1 card. So what I would recommend doing is, if you're going to do this, even if you're going to give it away, what I would do is put the card itself, the blank card that you only get 1 of, put that in a sleeve, and then put the stickers on that sleeve, and then re-sleeve both those things. That way,
that's not a bad call.
Yeah, that way you can make all 3 of the gifts with all the different stickers and stuff. You could make, because then all you're doing is taking off the sleeve of the blank card, and then you could make 3 different gifts rather than just 1. So that's what I would recommend doing.
I'm into that.
That way, because this is $60. So to make only 1 card, I would at least try to get all 3 cards out of it.
And yes, it is just a painter's scale.
Yeah, it is a painter's scale, which is why it's $60.
It's a great painter's scale, to be honest.
It's a really good mini. It's a really good mini. But still, it's $60. You should get more than 1 card out of it if you can. So that's what I'd recommend doing, is putting the blank, sign the name that you're giving this to and everything, and then put that in a sleeve. Then put the stickers on the sleeve, and then sleeve the sleeved card. That way you can change it out. You can make three cards in. So don't do this at random. Like I said, at all costs, don't do this at random. Put some kind of thought into it. Read the abilities. Read what it needs. And then at least make something where it will work. So let's look at the stickers now. So how this works is you're going to get 3 stickers of 3 different color gifts. They're just mimics. They look like mimics from Japanese RPGs. They're just mimic gift boxes. There's a red one, a green one, and a blue one. You put that on. Yeah, you put that on the card, and then the abilities will interact with what color the mimic box is. So, for example, one of the things will say, if this is a red gift, it does this. If it was a green gift, it does this. But it doesn't mention blue. So that's why I would say don't do this at random, because if you put a blue gift on there, and then you've got the abilities that look for red and green, the card is useless.
It's actually less than useless. It is only detrimental.
It's only detrimental, yeah. You'd only get the negative.
All of them also carry a negative, yes.
So don't do that. Don't do this at random just by telling you to. And then these are they're just boons and bad. They're just a lot of funny memes.
Trade-offs.
They're mostly memes. They're specifically targeting complaints that people have with the game and making them memes. Or they're specifically targeting the meta of the game. Like, so for example, here's one. There's one that says you cannot depart unless you have noisy gear. That's clearly something that everyone complains about with Harvester. That's clearly the joke there. So it forces you to run into Harvester. Here's another example. Ignore any bonuses to brain trauma rolls, and whenever the AI or hit location deck is manipulated, you suffer random brain trauma because the current meta is to manipulate the hit location and AI deck. Everybody does it. That's just a current meta. That's a very strong way of playing the game. So this is just another joke play on that. So that's the kind of things you're getting here. I don't think this is really worth evaluating strategically. You can make some broken combinations, you can make some useless combinations, you can make some bad combinations, and you can make some okay combinations. It really runs the gambit of what you're tailor making this gift for, and that's fine. So,
personally, I'd take the you cannot depart unless you have noisy gear one. I'd slap a blue gift on there, and I'd load my guy up with a bunch of instruments and Smog Singer, a ham fluter or something.
Yeah,
and just go nuts.
Yeah. There's a lot of these that are just really good. So,
That's +1 luck per instrument.
+1 luck per instrument. Funny. Yeah. There's other ones. Some gain +2 luck and get -2 evasion. It's good.
Yep.
When you depart,
gain a reroll token on arrival.
Yeah. Increase the range of your perfect hits. That's insane. Like some of these.
I mean, that's kind of niche, honestly, but yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about grand weapons, so. No, wait, daggers.
True.
Grand weapons on a crit.
No, it's on a. Yeah, I think it's on a crit.
Daggers are on perfect hit. Anyway.
Oh wait, more dagger buff.
Yeah, one of these just outright ignores cumbersome. There's just a lot of cool stuff here, but it's not. Again, the point of this is you're buying this to give it as a gift, and then make a funny gift for the because you know who you play with, right? You know what your play group wants. You know how you play, and you're just supposed to laugh. That's the point of it. So, I think it does that fine.
It's endearing. Come on, bro.
I think it's fine. Like I said, you could really make someone laugh with this, because if you know someone really hates instruments and you know they hate Harvester, you give them that one and it's funny. But that's it. That's pretty much it. Oh, there's also Perfect Organ, which is great.
Hey, I mean, Scrap Lantern.
Yep. The best thing about this, though, is that this is releasing before Gen Con, and anybody who's going to get this, and they get this at Gen Con, assuming they sell it at Gen Con, this is great for, like, community engagement, because the team is willing to let you just open it right there at their booth, and then make you a custom one for you. That's perfect for that. So, I think that's awesome, because I think that means you get them to sign the card, you get a custom card made by all of them. That's awesome. So...
I mean, there'll all be a red gift on a you cannot depart unless you have Noisy Grid one.
Sure. What they're going to ask you is, do you know what Lantern's Reign Discord is? And if you say yes, then they're going to give you the Harvester one.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to happen. All right. So I think we talked way more than we needed to on this. All right. Thanks for joining me again, Jay.
Thank you for having me, as always.